Okay, so welcome back. So in this demo, we'll demonstrate on how to implement a stateless firewall. In AWS, network ACLs or knuckles is a stateless firewall. Continuing in our initial setup, we're just gonna add a network ACL for each subnet. And our goal here is to make a ping request from public instance to private instance. Now, we're going to block that traffic because we don't want our private instance reachable by public instance, right? And then vice versa, private instance to public instance, of course, it is allowed because public instance is accessible publicly. Now, here are our initial setup for inbound and outbound rule for public network ACLs and then for the private network ACL. For us to reach our goal, we're going to add a rule for outbound or either in the inbound rule. So it's the same. It can be either from the inbound and then on the outbound of the public network ACL. So let's jump into the AWS Management Console to see this in action. Okay, we're back now here in AWS Management Console. As you can see, we are here at the VPC dashboard, where you can find the network ACLs on the left-hand side of this dashboard. Before we modify any of the network ACLs, let's go back to the EC2 console and let's do some continuous ping. So let's bring up the public instance and then the private instance. Okay. You see, this is the private instance, right? Let's copy the private address of public instance and let's do some ping test here. Okay, so we'll troubleshoot that later on. And then for the private instance, okay, we'll do a ping test also. There. So as you can see, there is no traffic coming in. So what we're gonna do now is let's check up the security group if there are allowed rule for each traffic. For the private subnet or security group, there's no rule for ping test or ping request. So we're gonna add that one here. Let's use up this all ICMP, and then since you're here in the private security group, let's allow the public security group. Alternatively, let's do that also for the public security group. Okay. Okay, let's see the difference now. There you go. So the traffic is coming in. Now, that's all about security groups. Now let's jump in onto the network ACL. So our scenario now is to block the traffic from the public instance going to the private instance. So here's what we're gonna do. So it's either we can add a outbound rule for our public network ACL right here, or add an inbound rule for private network ACL. So let's do on the private network ACL. So let's add a rule right here, and then let's say a rule number 100, and then let's select custom ICMP IPv4 and select the echo request. And then for the source, let's copy the IP address of the instance of, or I should say public instance. There you go. And then don't forget to add a /32. It pertains that this is a host. Okay. And we'll deny the traffic. And let's save this and let's look at the traffic right now. You see the traffic stops, and while the private to public is still running because we haven't modified anything yet there. Okay, so our goal, or our only goal, is to block the traffic from public to private. So we achieved that scenario right now. Okay, so if we want to do this onto the public network ACL, so let's quickly do that. Let's allow this one out, and then you see the traffic continuous ping again. Now we'll block it onto the public network ACL. Now not in the inbound, we're going to outbound because you are reaching out to the private instance. You're going outbound. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do, and we're gonna add a new rule. So let's say number 350, and then custom ICMP, and then echo request, and let's copy the private IP of the private instance right here. Okay, and /32. There you go. You can see again. Okay, oops, I forgot to deny the traffic. Okay, let's deny that. Okay, here we go. Let's deny the traffic and let's see again. There you go, it stops. Okay, so it's the same even if you change on the inbound of the private network ACL or public network ACL. So you can see it's continuous ping again. Okay, so that's it for our demo in this part 2. Hope you got it right. So see you in the next demo.